discussion? Councilor Gregory.
Oh, I must say, I'm really surprised that the council is considering pursuing the replacement for Holyfield here, the proposed replacement, in light of the meeting we had on Monday, and the fact that we have no idea where the council's authority relative to transfer, being able to sell Holyfield at this point stands. It's in complete limbo. Seems to be premature to consider a replacement for Holyfield, and we have no idea whether Holyfield is going anywhere. That's one. And I would suggest that we suspend consideration of this resolution indefinitely until such time as we actually have a clear understanding where this entire Holyfield matter is moving forward. That's one of the things. So, I mean, I would think it should be sent back to property committee to reconsider whether it should be, recommended to the council in light of what is going on with Holyfield and the ability for the city or council to transfer Holyfield. Perhaps it can be brought back. I'm looking at the communication that was just filed here from J. Rosa suggesting the city may still elect to pursue acquisition of this riverside possible as the status of the Holyfield matter. I don't have an issue with that. I think if the city can afford to purchase it and maintain it in its current state, maybe with some nature trail walks for people to continue enjoying the property, that's one thing. But as far as the replacement for Holyfield, I think that's completely inappropriate for various reasons that's been stated. I have a folder of various oppositions outlining reasons why Holyfield should not be sold and why the proposed parcel is not appropriate. We've had people come over here and testify. We had people on the phone, people on Zoom. I'm just really mystified as to why we're sitting here discussing the replacement of Holyfield. I was looking at a copy of the Valley Breeze, it looks like it was September 14 to the 20th, in which Councilor Rouger here is quoted as saying, Rouger said that he sees his job as an at-large councilor, as working directly with district councilors to resolve issues involving them on everything as the people who truly know their neighborhood. I have been here since I came here in July, arguing for the preservation of Holyfield or preservation of green space. I have received no such consideration, which I would have definitely appreciated. It makes sense, because if there was such a thing going on in anybody else's district here, I would hope that you guys could come to me and ask for support so that I can help you put it through as the person elected by your district to represent the people in the district. And as the Pope just said, know the neighborhood a lot better than anybody else, and deference should be given to that aspect. That deference has not been afforded to me. People in my community and district have come out here and testified that they don't want this. I've said that I don't want this. I've received zero support from members of this council from the start. It was my understanding that this council is supposed to be an equal but yet independent body government of the city. I haven't seen that. It's really disturbing. Moreover, the redundancy of replacing Holyfield at the site that's being suggested, it's shameful, it's reprehensive. The people of the 5th district, children of the 5th district, who are going to be left with nothing. Same communications references all sorts of criteria that were looked at as to why this purchase should move forward. The human factor was not considered. The environmental factors were not considered. And I see this, I mean, up until I found out what the real situation was with the gift deed and the councils being preempted. I mean, the gift deed in general, it's encouraged, right? Philanthropists would give out land for people's use and the expectation that it's going to be kept for that use. It's being suggested that some sort of enabling legislation should be brought forward, which essentially is going to be looking to gut the statute meant to protect the people. Do you really think that's going to be going forward anywhere? It's not. We have here Jennifer Stewart, who's going to be the new representative of District 5 where Holyfield is located. Do you think that she's going to bring that forward? No, she's not. We had Sherry Cruz here yesterday, I mean on Monday, opposing the sale of Holyfield. Do you think she's going to bring it forward? So why are we sitting here still entertaining the ability for this council to go back retroactively and correct a wrong that was done? Again, we voted to sell Holyfield, not 2 separate lots, the entirety of it. And in this case, we never had the authority to sell, particularly lot 291. By extension, the purchase and sales agreement, it is void. We've been waiting for some sort of legal argument. I would really be curious to see what argument anyone was going to come up with that's going to suggest otherwise. 4526 is not only unambiguous, it is straight on point in terms of preempting this council's authority to transfer Holyfield. That's not been questioned. In fact, the citizen said it was over here confirming that. And yet, here we are, still sitting here considering the sale of Holyfield. Moving forward, is the proposed cemetery lot over there, Riverside, going anywhere? What is the urgency and the rush for council to vote on that? I just don't understand it. Again, I'm a district councilor for District 5 where Holyfield situated. I oppose it. Constituents, not only District 5, but all over, have come out and opposed it. There hasn't been a single person or anybody in the community that supports this sale or the suggested replacement. It is redundant. It does nothing for District 5. It does absolutely nothing for the children and people in District 5. People in District 4, where you're planning to place it, also don't want it. They don't want it. They don't want that land. They want to preserve that land for what it's there for. A natural, unspoiled environmental oasis. They do not want to develop into another recreational field. They have a recreational field right next to it. This is a shameful proposition, and at this stage I would suggest that you, all members of this council, think really closely to what they're suggesting here. Because when we voted back in August of 2021, the information as to our authority to transfer the property was unknown to us. So our act was innocent. It was procured via misrepresentation, deliberate omission. I don't care how they slice it, what they suggest otherwise, that was the case. Planning Department, City Solicitor's Office, the administration had an absolute fiduciary duty to the council, to when they come over here, they represent the truth and give us all the information that's available so we can make an informed decision. We're representing the people. A lie to the council is a lie to the people we represent. There is no two ways about it. I went back and looked at the video and just to get some quotes of what the reasons were suggested as to why that information was not provided to the council. we were content to wait and see what the title company would do. Armed with the information, meaning being fully knowledgeable that council had no authority to transfer that property and that lot 291 was a gift deed. That's the information they were armed with, which obviously they didn't share with the council. We didn't understand it to be an impediment that the issue would be extinguished. That wasn't their decision to make, that was for the council to make. Had we been provided that information, we would have made a decision as to whether it made any sense to go forward with the proposed sale of Holyfield. We didn't have that information. It's not for the mayor's office, the administration, or the city solicitor officer to just make our decision for us. And sit here and tell us, oh, we just figure we're going to post actively after we get the vote by fraud in the mission to come back and fix it somehow. And they were wrong. The statute that they suggested doesn't work that way. That statute, in fact, the intent of that statute is to do exactly preservation of land that's been provided to the people for perpetuity. There are very limited exceptions to that effect. Because the whole point is to encourage people to give out land for the public use and that it remain for public use. And that some years down the line, some municipalities will come around and steal it from them. That's the objective of the statute they actually relied upon. And that statute specifically leads them back to 4526, which states that any action by a town or council or city officials in trying to convey land that's been preserved has to be done through 4526. So any suggestion that they didn't understand what that meant is baffling to me. And yet they come before this council. The next time the planning commission or anybody else in this place should come before this council and tells us, oh, we've looked at everything, we recommend you vote on it, I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. I have absolutely zero confidence that that's actually true. Because I'll be wondering, well, what are they not telling us? What's being omitted? It shouldn't be that way. We should have absolute confidence that when the planning department comes over here and proposes something to us, that everything has been looked at and we've been provided with each and every information that's necessary, regardless of whether they think it wasn't necessary for us to know. Because that's what they were suggesting. Oh, we'll get them to vote. Yeah, we'll omit completely the issues regarding the gift deed and council's lack of authority to transfer the property, but we'll in the background somehow straighten it and make it legal. It doesn't make it legal. A lie remains a lie, no matter how you cut it. A wrong remains a wrong, no matter who supports it. It's not your decision to make that decision for us. You're not elected officials, we are. We have to answer to the people, and the people expect that when we're voting on something, we're doing it with full knowledge of every single aspect of any issue that's being presented. That clearly was not the case. It was deliberate. I don't care what's been suggested. You didn't know, or maybe you should be in your position if you didn't know.
Amen.
I am sick and tired of coming over here. This shouldn't be this hard. I'm a member of this council, and yet I feel like an alien. I get zero support from this council. Is this council nothing more than an extension of the administration? It seems that way to me.
That's what it is.
I'm not sure, because when the people are telling you no, the representative district council is telling you no, stakeholders are telling you no. Does Jesus Christ have to come down here and knock every single one of everybody here so that you get it? You have the newly elected representative, state representative, is against this, both of them. What sort of maneuver are you looking to do here? So again, I'm going to ask the council respectfully that this proposal here for the Riverside property be postponed at very least indefinitely until we get some clarity as to where we stand in regards to the Holyfield. My position is that the purchase sales agreement is void. Council again didn't vote for half the field to be sold, we voted for the entirety of the property. Information that, and the fact that we couldn't transfer the property remains to this day. We didn't have the authority then, back in August, We don't have the authority today. In fact, I doubt very much it will ever have that authority. Figures have been exaggerated. I read something here today that suggests that Holyfield to be revamped cost about $1 million or two. That's not true. Holyfield still remains under the protection of the National Park Service and the Lands and Water Act protection. There are funds and grants available to remediate if it needs it, which at this point, I find the samples that were provided. I don't doubt that those samples were contaminated. However, I doubt that whether those samples actually came from Holyfield. Seems awfully convenient that a party looking to take it over all of a sudden, after years of Holyfield having absolutely zero issue, is suddenly contaminated. And to add insult to injury, stories are being circulated out there that it was the DEM who did the investigation, the environmental site investigation. It was the DEM who found the contaminants. It was the DEM who closed Holyfield. None of those facts are true. It was a developer with the documents of the city's administration who went ahead and conducted environmental testing. It was them who found the contaminants, the alleged contaminants. It was them who submitted to the DEM. It was the city who closed down Holyfield. It wasn't the DEM. The DEM, in fact, I spoke to the DEM personnel, was the engineer in charge of that remediation over there. He told me specifically, no uncertain terms, that the contaminants, the contaminants are there. They're not to such a degree that the DEM feels it necessary to close down the park. Wow. They never recommended closing down the park. In fact, the protected lot, the gifted lot, none of the contaminants were found on that side of it. I've looked at those documentation. There was only 3 different spots found on lot 309. Nothing in 291. I have constituents. Group consisting of 50 women who used to go up to Holyfield on a regular basis and would exercise. Peaceful, quiet of the environment that they enjoyed. You know where they're practicing their cross country in yoga? In the parking lot of Holyfield. They're laying maps out there and doing it 3 times a week. That's shameful. It shouldn't be. It's disgraceful. Have any of those factors been considered in this communication? The effects that it's having on the population that you're taking this from. The effects it's going to have on District 4 when you go over there and gut the natural environment that's sitting over there. They don't want you to do that. I mean, the only person who wants this is the administration and the people supporting them. Mm-hmm. District 4 doesn't want it. District 5 doesn't want it. The representatives don't want it. I'm just flabbergasted and don't understand this at all. It's deeply disturbing, truly disturbing, that we're sitting over here trying to sort out whether we should be voting on a replacement for Holyfield, a field that we can't convey, a field that the authorization was obtained by false misrepresentation, a lie essentially. An admission is a lie. By any definition. Thank you, that's all I have to say.